We are now moving on to the next chapter, that is appeals under GST. In this appeals under GST, we have one important amendment that is related to pre-deposit. Also one more amendment related to the cases which can be handled by the principal bench. And on this pre-deposit, definitely there may be a question related to this in exam, as well as the time limits which are there in this appeal chapter is also very important. So let's proceed to the discussion related to this. First, we need to understand what are the orders against which appeal can be filed. So usually we have various orders on which appeal can be filed. So all those orders I have just listed here. So first one will be demand order under section 74A. So whenever there is short payment of tax or non-payment of tax, wrong availment of ITC or wrong utilization of ITC or erroneous refund, one demand order will be given under 74A. On that we can go for appeal. Then 75 order is related to the situation where the issue is going to the tribunal or issue is going to the high court. When the matter is remanded back for the fresh adjudication, the adjudication authority should pass an order. So that order will be 75 order. And 76 order is related to amount collected as tax but not paid. So that case 76. Then 62 and 63 is best judgment assessment in respect of non-filers of returns or in respect of unregistered person who is having some liability to pay tax. 64 is summary assessment order, and 129 is penalty order in case when the goods are transported without valid e-way bill or with wrong e-way bill or with any supporting documents. So then in that case, so what will happen is that the goods are intercepted by the proper officer and they will pass a seizure, and thereafter they will pass a penalty order. Against a penalty order we can go for appeal, but remember, against the seizure order appeal cannot be filed. Then 130 will be confiscation order. So whenever the inspection is carried out in the premises under section 67, so they will do a seizure, and thereafter if the goods are liable for confiscation, so with respect to those goods, so if the tax is not paid by the taxpayer, so then they will do the confiscation. So confiscation order will be passed. Against the confiscation order also appeal can be filed. Then section 54 talks about the refund order. So refund order is on account of whenever there are multiple situations where we can go for refund. So whenever we are making an application for refund, the refund order will be passed within 60 days from the date of application for refund, and thereafter we can go for appeal against that refund order. Then 127 is penalty order. Generally we have section 122 subsection 1 biodiscredits or 122 subsection 3. So a person who is a party to the offence but he is not the main person involved in the offence, on them there will be penalty under different sections 122, 123, etc. To levy only penalty, a notice will be given under 127 and the order will be, penalty order will be passed under 127. Against that penalty order also pre-deposit, can be required to be filed, and we need to go for appeal, we can go for appeal. So these are the orders on which appeal can be filed. Then what are the orders on which appeal cannot be filed? Non-appealable orders. Number 1, transfer of proceedings from one officer to another officer. So whenever there is an order for transfer of proceedings from one officer to another officer, so we cannot contest that and go for appeal. Also with respect to seizure order or detention order, we cannot go for appeal. And order sanctioning prosecution, that is imprisonment order, also we cannot go for appeal. And order sanctioning payment of dues in installment, that is installment order. So whenever the demand order is passed, so we can make the payment of tax dues along with interest and penalty in installments, maximum 24 installments. Suppose if they are telling 12 installments, we cannot go for appeal against that, stating that we need 24 installments but they gave 12 installments. Against it and all, appeal cannot be made. So these are the non-appealable orders, and these are the orders on which appeal can be filed. So who will be passing this order? The adjudication authority will pass the order. Either this order will be called as adjudication order or assessment order. So who is adjudication authority? From the lower level it will be superintendent, and the next level will be ACDC, and thereafter it will be additional or joint commissioner. So these people will be called as adjudication authority. Either they will pass the adjudication order or assessment order or whatever orders that we have discussed so far. Now, if the order is passed by the assistant commissioner, deputy commissioner, superintendent, then the appeal will be made with the additional commissioner appeals. Suppose if additional or joint commissioner passes the order, then the appeal will go to the commissioner appeals. In the first appellate authority, we have two people, commissioner appeals and additional commissioner appeals. If below the rank of additional or joint commissioner passes the order, the appeal will be made to the additional commissioner appeals. If suppose additional or joint commissioner passes the order, the appeal will be made with the commissioner appeals. So if the person, that is if the taxpayer is aggrieved by that order, then they will go for appeal to the commission appeals or additional commission appeals. And the further appeal is with GST 80, GST appellate tribunal, and thereafter with the High Court, and thereafter with the Supreme Court. But if the issue is related to place of supply, so just remember there are total 5 situations where the appeal will be made to the Supreme Court from the tribunal directly by skipping the High Court. So 45 cases. Number 1, place of supply. Place of supply is one case, and thereafter we have got anti-profiteering, and after anti-profiteering, to hear the issues related to place of supply, anti-profiteering, and we have so 3 more notified case also newly added. So first one, place of supply, if the issue is related to place of supply. Second one, if the issue is related to anti-profiteering. Third, if the case is pending before 2 or more state benches related to the similar question of law. So there is one particular question of law, like a particular activity, supply or not a supply, and the same issue is pending in 2 or more state benches, then also directly it will go to the Supreme Court. And then OIDR cases or OMG cases, online money gaming, and finally ISD cases. So input service distributor, these are the 5 situations where the High Court will be skipped and directly it will go from the tribunal to the Supreme Court. Okay, so that is with respect to this. So this can be tested in exam. Then there is something called as revisional authority. So whenever the adjudication authority passes the order, so that particular order may be taken up for revision by the revisional authority, and that revisional authority suo motu may take or based on the information from the commissioner, and the revision authority will pass the revisional order. Against the revisional order also appeal will be made to the GST 80, GST Appellate Tribunal, and thereafter High Court, and thereafter Supreme Court. Here again the same story. If these are 5 issues, we can skip the High Court and directly go to the Supreme Court. Then appeal to High Court and Supreme Court only if question of law is involved. What is the difference between question of law and question of fact? If there is a issue related to the provision, so that is question of law, and if the provision is dependent upon a condition, then that will be question of fact. That condition is question of fact. For example, whether an activity is supply or not a supply is question of law, but whether the consideration is involved or not in the activity is a question of fact, like that. So if it is a fact finding, the final fact finding authority is tribunal, whereas if there is a question of law, then only we can knock the door of the High Court and Supreme Court. Even department can prefer an appeal. So not an issue, department also can go for further appeal, but there is a pre-deposit that is required to be paid. So usually pre-deposit will be 10% of the disputed tax that needs to be deposited. So just to show the seriousness in the case, but that pre-deposit is only by the taxpayer who is going for appeal, not by the department. So not applicable for department appeal. So who can make an appeal? So the authorized representative. Who can act as authorized representative under GST? This is common point. So either the relative of that particular person, the taxpayer's relative, or regular employee of the taxpayer, or advocate, CA, CMA, CS, or retired officer of the government, or GST practitioner. So these people can act as authorized representative. However, if the particular government employee is removed from the service, so not voluntary retirement or not retirement, but he is removed from the service, dismissed from the service, then he cannot act as a authorized representative. Or if there is a person who is convicted of an offense, so any offense, who is convicted, so means imprisonment order is passed, so he cannot. So they have not given any monetary limit, so imprisonment order is passed, he cannot act as an authorized representative. Found guilty of misconduct, so usually professionals like advocates, chartered accountants, cost accountants, if they are found guilty of misconduct, they are disqualified from acting as authorized representative. Or if a person is adjudged as insolvent, so even they cannot also act as authorized representative. So this can be tested as a MCQ. Which of the following cannot act as authorized representative, like that. Then next we have GST 80. In GST 80 we have principal bench and state bench. GST 80 started operations, and principal bench is in Delhi and state bench is in every state. And in principal bench, so it will hear 5 issues already we know, and there will be a president, and there will be judicial members, and 1 technical member of central government and technical member of the state government. So this will be the composition of the principal bench. Whereas in state bench, there will be 2 judicial members and 1 technical member central government, technical member state government. Out of these 2 judicial members in the state bench, the senior most judicial member will become the vice president. Okay, so then which means president will be 1. So for principal bench across the country, but every state bench there will be a vice president. It means every state there will be one vice president. The senior most judicial member will become the vice president. If the dispute is up to 50 lakhs, that is less than 50 lakhs, not exactly 50 lakhs, less than 50 lakhs, without any question of law. So first we need to check, is it a question of law or question of fact? If it is a question of law, so then this point is not applicable. If it is a question of fact, okay, it may be heard by a single member with the approval of the president. So it can be heard by the single member also, but with the approval of the president only. In other cases, hearing by 2 members, judicial and technical member is required. So if it is a question of fact, whenever it is a question of fact, So then that is less than 50 lakhs. Question of fact, less than 50 lakhs. So if approved, single member bench. Otherwise, so 2 members are required. In other cases, hearing by 2 members, 1 judicial member and 1 technical member is required. Suppose if there is a difference of opinion between the members, what will happen? Suppose if 2 members are hearing that particular case, if there is a dispute, so 1/3 member will be inducted and a majority will prevail. So members differ in decision, case referred to another member for majority opinion resolution, including opinion of members who first heard the case. So members can be transferred between the benches by the president, but technical member state should remain in that particular state only, and tribunal proceedings cannot be questioned or invalidated due to vacancies or minor defects in its constitution. Say for example, technical member central government and another technical member is also appointed by central government only, because in that state there is no technical member. So there is a defect in their appointment. So then can we say that the state bench decision is invalid? No. Suppose if there is only 1 judicial member and 1 technical member and the state bench gave the decision, so there is a vacancy. So can we say that the state bench decision is invalid? No. So that is this point. Tribunal proceedings cannot be questioned or invalidated due to vacancies or minor defects in its constitution. Then special points with respect to appeal to appellate authority. Appeal can be filed manually. So usually appeal will be filed through portal, APL1 form will be there, but it can be filed manually if commissioner has so notified. If commissioner notifies, or the same cannot be filed electronically due to non-availability of decision or order on the portal. Say the state government has given a decision. Adjudication order is given by the state officer, state GST officer, and that particular order is given over mail. It is not available in the portal. So then the manual way only we can make the application, like appeal form, but electronically it is not possible. What if the order copy is already available in the portal? So we can directly go for electronic filing of appeal itself. So 2 situations, either if it is notified by the commissioner or the same cannot be filed electronically due to non-availability of decision or order on the portal. And how many adjournments will be given? So maximum 3 adjournments will be given to each party, and appellate authority can confirm. So whenever we go for appellate authority, that is the first level appellate authority, either they can confirm. So the lower adjudication order, whatever is given by the authority, that can be confirmed by the appellate authority, or they can modify, either increase or decrease, or they can annul the order passed. But whenever they are increasing, keep that in mind. Say for example, if the order is for 10 lakhs and if they are enhancing it to 12 lakhs, for that extra 2 lakhs, the commissioner should give a new notice, because the order is only for 10 lakhs. So when they are enhancing for that extra 2 lakhs, the notice should be given, and only then the appellate authority can pass the order for 12 lakhs. When they are reducing, there is no issue. They can modify or they can cancel the order also. That is called as annulment. Then special points with respect to appeal to GST80, that is the second level authority. Appeal can be withdrawn before issuance of order by GST80. Say we are going for appeal to GST80, at that stage the appeal can be withdrawn also, but before they give the decision. However, if acknowledgement for filing appeal is issued, so then withdrawal is subject to approval of GST80 within 15 days from the date of application. Then maximum 3 adjournments will be given to either party. GST80 again can confirm, modify or annul the decision of the lower authority, and the other party to the appeal. For example, if I am the taxpayer, I am going for appeal to GST80. The other party to the appeal is department. So they need to file the memorandum of cross objections within 45 days plus extended period from the date of notice of appeal. Suppose if department is going for appeal to GST80, then I am the other party. I need to file the memorandum of cross objections within 45 days plus extended time period from the date of notice of appeal. So whenever they go for appeal to GST80, GST80 will give me the notice of the appeal. From that date, I need to file memorandum of cross objections within 45 days or plus extended time by the GST80. Then, so see this summary. First appeal we are going for commissioner appeals or additional or joint commissioner appeals. So here, to whom? Commissioner appeals against the order of the additional or joint commissioner, and joint commission appeals against the order of officer below the rank of additional joint commission appeals, that is superintendent or ACDC. Time limit, if a C, that is taxpayer, is going for appeal, the time limit is 3 months and it can be extended for a further period of 1 month, that is condonation of delay by 1 month. Whereas if department is going for appeal, then it will be 6 months from the date of adjudication order, and it can be extended for a further period of 1 month. The condonation of delay is 1 month, and is usually called as review, which means that against the department's order, the department only is going for appeal, that is the commissioner will go for appeal, that is this. And pre-deposit, pre-deposit is not applicable in case of department appeal. What is a pre-deposit? 100% of the admitted due. Suppose if you are going for appeal to the first appeal authority against an adjudication order, wherein that adjudication order the tax is 100 lakhs, but the dispute is only for 60 lakhs, then the remaining 40 lakhs you are going to admit. So you have to pay that 40 lakhs. That is not pre-deposit. That is anyhow you need to pay, so that you are paying. So therefore 100% of the admitted due. That is with respect to that 40 lakhs, whatever you have admitted, that 40 lakhs plus interest on 40 lakhs plus penalty on that 40 lakhs you need to pay. And this is not a pre-deposit. This anyhow you admitted, you have to pay. Now what is the disputed tax? Only disputed tax you see. The disputed tax is 60 lakhs. 60 lakhs into 10%, that will be 6 lakhs. So that 6 lakhs is only the pre-deposit. 100% of the admitted due plus 10% of the disputed tax subject to maximum 20 crores. So this 20 crores is under CGST. So remember, three things we need to compute separately. Number one, late fee. Number two, penalty. Number three, pre-deposit. This should be computed separately for CGST and SGST. You remember CGST provision. Whenever you get the question related to IGST, multiply by 2. Okay. So therefore 20 crores. If it is CGST, if it is IGST, then it will become 40 crores. In case of appeal against penalty order under any section, if there is a penalty order, either penalty order under 129 or penalty order under 127, so any section, then the pre-deposit, previously it was 25% of such penalty, now they have modified it to 10% of such penalty. So here, in order to make it equal with the tax, so they have made it like 10% of disputed tax. If there is tax and penalty in dispute, just see the tax into 10%. Suppose if the penalty alone is in dispute, just see the penalty into 10%. So this, we don't have any subject to maximum like that. Only for tax we have a subject to maximum 20 crores, but in case of penalty we don't have any subject to maximum. And for the first appeal, what is the appeal fee? So we don't have any appeal fee, and the time limit for disposal of appeal 1 year, and that is not mandatory, means within 1 year from the date on which we are going for appeal. So they have to pass the decision, but it is not mandatory that they have to follow. And next, second appeal to GST 80. So against whose order? Against the order of the first appeal authority, that is commissioner appeals or additional commission appeals or revisional authority. We will go to GST 80. What is the time limit? If the taxpayer is going for appeal, it will be 3 months, plus it can be extended for a further period of 3 months. If the department is going for appeal, within 6 months, plus it can be extended for a further period of 3 months. Pre-deposit, again it is not applicable in case of department appeal. The pre-deposit is same, ditto, copy paste. So that is 100% of the admitted due, that is from first appeal to second appeal. In our previous example, so 60 lakhs was the dispute. So now they are telling entire 60 lakhs you need to pay, but in that you are admitting 10 lakhs. So the 10 lakhs plus the penalty on 10 lakhs plus interest on 10 lakhs, that admitted dues you need to pay. Now what is the disputed tax? 50 lakhs. 50 lakhs into 10%, 5 lakhs, but already I paid 6 lakhs, that is the first appeal. Now second appeal, again you need to pay 10%. So 50 lakhs into 10%, that will be 5 lakhs we need to pay. So now in this case, this 5 lakhs is only the pre-deposit we are paying. Again it is subject to maximum 20 crores under CGST. If it is IGST, it will be 40 crores plus penalty. Previously, first appeal only there was a penalty pre-deposit, but now even for second appeal there is a pre-deposit for the penalty. In case of appeal against penalty order, pre-deposit will be 10% of such penalty. But remember, whenever the tax and penalty is in dispute, only the tax into 10%. Whenever the penalty alone is in dispute, that penalty into 10%. And we have an appeal fee. So previously, so we had this point, now also the same, no change. Only in case of penalty pre-deposit there is a change. And what is that? So what is the appeal fee in case of GST 80? There is a minimum appeal fee of 5,000 rupees and 1,000 rupees for every 1 lakh or part thereof, subject to maximum 25,000. What if it is like 4 lakhs? So 4 lakhs, if it is the tax dispute 4 lakhs on which we are going for appeal. So 4 lakhs means for every 1 lakh 1,000, so 4,000, but the minimum is 5,000. What if the dispute is related to somewhere like 12 lakh 10,000? 12 lakh 10,000, for every 1 lakh or part thereof it is 1,000, so it will be 13,000. And what if it is a penalty 28 lakh 40,000? So 28 lakh 40,000, 29,000, but the maximum is only 25,000. This is the total, both under CGST as well as SGST. We don't have to pay it separately. This is the total. So means we need to see the total tax. Okay. So subject to maximum 25,000 for every 1 lakh or part thereof. But this particular appeal fee, when we are counting 1 lakh or part thereof, so what we need to see is the total tax. Okay. So we need to see the total tax in dispute. Total tax or penalty. Total tax or penalty in dispute. So if suppose you are going against the tax in dispute, see the tax. If you are going for appeal against a penalty in dispute, so only see the penalty. So the total we need to see, and we don't have to calculate it separately for CGST, SGST. And time limit for disposal of appeal, what is that? 1 year. so not mandatory. And suppose if the tax, again total tax, if the total tax or ITC or total penalty does not exceed 50,000, GST-80 may refuse to admit the appeal. So it is up to the GST-80 whether to accept or refuse the appeal. If the tax, that is total tax or the total ITC or the total penalty, is less than or equals to 50,000. And as GST-80 is established recently for adjudication orders passed before 1/8/2024, when you are going for appeal against the particular order to GST-80, that 3 months or 6 months should be counted from 1/8/2024 for the past orders, because now only they have enabled the GST-80 due to that reason. Then the third appeal we are going to High Court. So against whose order? Against the order of GST-80, which bench? State bench, only state bench. And time limit, so within 180 days, either department or assessee, within 180 days, plus there is an unlimited condonation of delay. Pre-deposit provisions, etc. and all, we don't have in GST, that is as per CPC, Civil Procedure Code, and court rules. Then fourth appeal to Supreme Court, against whose order? Supreme Court against the order of the GST-80 principal bench and against the order of the High Court. Time limit as well as pre-deposit fee, everything is as per CPC. And suppose if there is a matter relating to question of law, so we can go up to Supreme Court. But if the matter is related to question of fact, we can go maximum up to GST-80. Then interest on refund of pre-deposit. So whenever we made a pre-deposit, in our example, so first appeal we made a pre-deposit of 6 lakhs, second appeal we made a pre-deposit of 5 lakhs, say we won the case, that 6 lakhs plus 5 lakhs we will get it as a refund. And what is the time limit within which we will get the refund? That is not given, but we will get an interest at the rate of 9% per annum. From when to when? From the date we made a deposit till the date we are getting the refund. From the date of deposit, remember, from the date of deposit till the date of refund. So we will be getting interest at the rate of 9% per annum. Then for department appeal, there is a monetary limits. So whenever department is going for an appeal, so against the order of the lower authority, suppose if they are going for appeal to GST-80, minimum there should be a tax dispute of 20 lakhs. So otherwise they should not go for appeal. In order to discourage the department from unnecessarily going for appeals, they have brought in this provision. So if the tax is up to 20 lakhs, they can go for appeal. I mean, up to 20 lakhs they cannot go. So beyond 20 lakhs only they can go for appeal to GST-80. If it is High Court, so what is the amount? 1 crore. If the tax dispute or any amount in the dispute is more than 1 crore, then only they can go for appeal to High Court. Who? Department. Suppose if it is Supreme Court, 2 crores. So remember 20 lakhs, 1 crore and 2 crores. Is this 20 lakhs, 1 crore and 2 crores? Only CGST or total tax, CGST, SGST, everything is in dispute. Suppose if tax, interest, penalty, everything is in dispute, just see the total tax. If the total tax is more than 20 lakhs, more than 1 crore, more than 2 crores, the department can prefer an appeal. So there are some principles to be considered while determining whether a case falls within the above monetary limit or not. Suppose if the dispute is related to tax, either with or without interest and penalty, then only the aggregate amount of tax, only see the tax, don't see anything else, only see the tax in dispute including CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST and compensation cess. Suppose if only interest is in dispute, see only the amount of interest. If only penalty is in dispute, see only the penalty. If late fee is in dispute, see only the late fee. What if interest, penalty and late fee is in dispute? Then see everything, all three together. But if tax plus this is in dispute, see only tax. If tax comes, only tax. If not, then we need to take all other things. Aggregate amount of interest, penalty and late fee. If there is any erroneous refund, amount of refund in dispute including CGST, SGST, everything. So refund, total refund we need to see. So depending upon the situation in the question you need to take. So definitely they will confuse you with respect to this, keep in mind. Then monetary limit shall be applied on the disputed amount of tax or interest or penalty as a case may be, in respect of which appeal or application is contemplated to be filed. In a composite order, say for example there are multiple orders against which appeal is made, so then we need to see the cumulative amount. So in case of composite order which disposes more than one appeal or demand notice, the monetary limit shall be applicable on the total amount of the tax or interest or penalty as a case may be, and not the amount involved in individual appeal or demand notice. So we need to see the aggregate. Appeal should not be filed merely because the disputed tax amount involves a case exceeds the monetary limits fixed above. Just because the monetary limits have exceeded, so they should not go for appeal. So they need to see the case, and based on the merits of the case they need to go for appeal. Where appeal is not filed in pursuance of these instructions, such cases shall not have any precedent value. For example, department is not agreeing to GST-80's decision and they wanted to go for High Court, but the tax dispute is only 80 lakhs. They cannot go for appeal to High Court. It does not mean they have accepted the decision of the GST 80. So next, second, non-filing of appeal based on the above monetary limits shall not preclude the tax officer from filing appeal or application in any other case involving the same or similar issue in which the tax in disputes exceeds the monetary limit. Say in another case, same issue, another case, GST 80 gave a decision, but now the tax dispute is 1.5 crores. Now can the department go for appeal to High Court? Yes. In the previous case, even though similar issue was there, they could not go for appeal because the monetary limit issue was there. It was only 80 lakhs. So they could not go for appeal. That does not mean they accepted the decision. So when the amount goes beyond that, definitely they can go for the appeal against the same or similar issue in the past. If they have not gone, it's okay. And just because they did not go for appeal, it does not mean that they have accepted. So where appeal is not filed solely on the basis of above monetary limits, there will be no presumption that department has acquiesced in the decision. That is, they have accepted the decision on the disputed issue in case of same taxpayers or any other taxpayer. Then following cases to be taken on merits irrespective of the monetary limit. So first they have given the monetary limit and some principles related to monetary limit. Then what are the cases where irrespective of the monetary limit they can go for appeal? Remember, very simple. First 3 points, very easy. If the issue is pertaining to the situation where the court is telling or the lower authority is telling that the act is ultra vires the constitution. If the issue is related to act ultra vires the constitution, or if the issue is related to rules ultra vires the act, or if the issue is related to circulars or notifications or orders which are ultra vires the act or rules, then in that case, in these 3 cases, department can go for appeal irrespective of the monetary limit issue. That is this first point, second point and third point. Then next point, there are some specific cases. What are they? Valuation, classification, refunds, then place of supply or any other issue which is having recurring implication. Then where there are strictures or adverse comments which is made against the department by the court, against that also department can go for appeal. Then or even any charges or costs are levied on the department by the court, on that also they can go for appeal irrespective of the monetary limit. Apart from that, any other case where the board may specify. Then we have revisional authority under GST. Revision authority is like a whistleblower. So whenever the adjudication order is passed on which taxpayer also did not go for appeal and department also did not go for appeal, those order will be taken up for revision by the revision authority, but only adjudication order will be taken up for revision by revision authority. Either suo motu on their own they will take, or based on the information received by the commissioner. So either state commissioner or central commissioner, so or based on any other complaint which is made to them. So on its own motion or upon information or on request from the commissioner, call for and examine the record of any proceedings. Suppose if they consider that the decision is erroneous, that is the order passed by the adjudication authority is erroneous, insofar as it is prejudicial to the interest of revenue, or is illegal or improper, or has not taken into account certain material facts, then what will happen? That particular revision authority will stay that order, and after some time they will do the revision. So either by way of annulling, that is cancelling, or modifying or enhancing, anything they can do, enhancing, modifying or annulling the said decision or order. And after making such further inquiry, suppose if there is an increase in liability, definitely they need to give an opportunity of being heard. No revision in certain cases. Suppose if the order is subject to an appeal, then revision is not possible. So because if the appeal is there, anyhow appellate authority will take care. That's the reason why revision is not possible. However, revision authority may pass an order on any point which has not been raised and decided in appeal with respect to admitted due, they can revise. For example, if the order is having 10 issues, on 4 issues we are going for appeal, on 6 issues we are not going for appeal. With respect to the 6 issues, revision authority can take up the order for revision. Then order has already been taken up for revision. So once the order is taken up for revision, whether it is revised or not, already one revision authority has taken up that order, another revision authority cannot touch that order. Suppose if the order is revised, so revised order cannot be revised again. So that is revision of revisional order is not possible. Orders are to be revised is a revision order. Then time limit for taking up the order for revision. Suppose if the appeal is filed on those issues on which we did not go for appeal, revision authority can pass a revision order. What is the time limit? 3 years from the adjudication order, or 1 year from the appeal order. On that order we went for appeal na, 1 year from appeal order, or 3 years from adjudication order, whichever is later. Not whichever is earlier, whichever is later. Then suppose if the appeal is not filed, then after 6 months, because first 6 months either the taxpayer can go for appeal or the department can go for appeal. That's the reason why after 6 months from adjudication order and within 3 years from adjudication order, in the 2.5 year period only, they can do the revision. So after 6 months from adjudication order and within 3 years from such order. And while counting this period of 3 years, they should not be taking any stay period. For example, if the stay is granted for 3 months, then automatically the 3 years gets extended by 3 months. And also if the similar issue is pending in any court, that is High Court or Supreme Court or Tribunal, from Tribunal to High Court to Supreme Court, that time frame, say for 8 months, then while counting this 3 years, that 8 months should be extended. So time period in the appeal under similar issue in Tribunal to High Court and High Court to Supreme Court should be excluded, and even the stay period also should be excluded. And all these provisions, whatever the stay period should be excluded, and the similar time limit, like similar appeal is pending in the court, that should be excluded. These 2 points are common even in case of demand order under 74A and 76. Then what will be considered as the date of filing appeal in case of first appeal? First, the adjudication authority, whether they have uploaded the copy of the order in the portal or not, we need to check. If the adjudication authority has uploaded the copy of the order in the portal, then the moment you make the application for appeal, that is when you file the appeal form, you get the provision acknowledgement. That date itself will be taken as the date of filing appeal. Suppose if the copy of the order is not uploaded in the portal by the officer, then you need to submit the certified copy. So therefore, self-certified copy, are you submitting within 7 days from the date of provision acknowledgement? Yes. Then the date of provision acknowledgement will be taken as the date of appeal. If you have not submitted within 7 days, the date on which you are submitting the self-certified copy, that date only will be taken as the date of filing appeal. It is crucial for deciding the time limit of 3 months, for the purpose of making the appeal. And actually, even for GST 80 also, the same provision will be applicable. Then next, production of additional evidence before appellate authority or GST 80. Usually at the time of filing adjudication, at the time of adjudication itself, we should have given all the evidences. Suppose if you have any additional evidence, at the appeal stage also you can submit, but there are certain provisions related to this. Appellant shall not be allowed. Appellant shall not be allowed to produce additional evidence during the course of proceedings, because if additional evidence is given, the adjudication authority will ask, had this evidence was given at the time of adjudication, I would not have passed this order. So the matter will be remanded back for adjudication. So usually additional evidence will not be taken. However, in 3 cases, they will accept the additional evidence. Number 1, suppose if the additional evidence was produced during the adjudication stage and the authority, adjudicating authority, refused to admit the evidence, or appellant was prevented from producing the evidence for sufficient reasons, maybe that document was not available at the time of adjudication and now only it is available, or opportunity of being heard not provided by the lower authority. In these 3 cases, additional evidence can be produced before appellate authority or GST 80. So these are the points we have related to appeals.